Hi, this is Edith, Educational Technologist at Oregon Tech, and in this video I am going to talk to you about the Data tab. So I'm going to go ahead and go over there. So the Data tab has quite a few things going on in it. So we can get external data. And you can see where you can get it from. There are a lot of places that you can get it from: Access, web, from the internet, from text, from a text file, from other sources. So this is where you might find the other sources at, or existing connections. I have yet to use it, and I know I am saying that on a lot of videos, but you know, for the most part, I create my own spreadsheets from scratch. So, you know, some of these things are very new to me, so I'm learning them with you as well. So I just kind of want to just point out, you know, some of the features that I am aware of. So, and then learn with you on the other ones. So new query, easily discover, connect, and combine data from multiple sources, and then shape and refine it to your needs. Again, you have these data sources that you can pull it from. Okay, so you can grab it from the workbook, from a CSV file, from XML. So you have all of these different types of places that you can bring them in from. This is, I feel, a little bit more advanced information, and I think it's a little bit more than most people will do for basic Excel spreadsheet information. So you can show queries. So if you have a query, you can create a query and show queries. I do not believe I have any queries in here, so it's looking for one right now. I can create a query linked to an Excel table. So in the insert video, I went over the table where I can create a table. I can pull actually that information from that table if I use the query, or recent sources. Refresh all just refreshes the page, just cleans everything up. If you made a lot of changes or you got extra lines that you're cleaning up and whatever, you can just hit refresh all. It just kind of refreshes things and makes it look a little bit more neat. These are your connections. Again, this kind of goes with all of this over here. Just depends. You know, if you know how to use it and you have connections, this is where you're going to find it. So I just kind of want to cover that. The other thing you can do is you can do a data sort. I can sort from A to Z or Z to A. So you can see a change. And I would recommend, if you do this, don't do like I just did, where I highlighted with the numbers down here, because those will be added into the formulas that you may not want it to. So highlight the area. Say I want to go to A to Z or Z to A. For some reason, my numbers are changing, and I'm not exactly sure why. So I may be something from a previous video that I did that is creating that change. It shouldn't. It should just be whatever it is here. It should not change. The numbers should not change at all. But who knows why? It just, oh, there we go. See, isn't that weird? I don't know why that would make a difference, but it does. Okay, I could also do a sort this way, where I could tell the system, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of this, and I could tell the system here, I have a header row, so my data has headers, so that's that first line right up here, and I can choose how I want to sort it by. Now you can see I have column B. That's because I have no header in column B, so it's just going to say column B. So say I want to do it by the part number. I can also add a level and I can say I want the cost for 7 to go from the largest to the smallest. So I have all of these different options that I can go with. I can also copy the level and maybe change it because instead I wanted the smallest to largest. I can go into options, make it case sensitive, sort top to bottom, right to left. Top to bottom, of course, is going to be the default, and just say okay. And you can see I did get an error message. So I don't want this one anymore. I can actually delete that value and just say okay. And then I have merge cells. So it's causing a lot of problems, but I just kind of wanted to show you how that worked. So let's see. Let's just go in here and pick these ones here again. Let's see if that makes a difference. So I want to do product. I want to add a level. I want to pick the cost for 7 to go to smallest, largest to smallest, and let's say okay. So it's going to pick, since I went through A to Z, it's going to pick it's going to go this way, and then it's going to also say, okay, I want smallest to highest for the number. And so even though it's in alphabetical order, if I had maybe 2 HP elites, it would put, and I have 2 different prices for those, it would put the HP elite at a lower, the one that with the lower cost as the top one to display. But they both will be displayed regardless. Okay, so let's go ahead and select all of these. I can actually filter them. So when I click on that and I get a filter, I actually have this little drop down box that comes out on all of these pages. And I can select what I want to filter it by. So perhaps I just want to filter it and find all the licenses that are at 45%. I can say okay. And now you can see that's the only thing that shows up in that area. Don't pay minds to this area here because I'm not using it. And you can see that I have filtered it, and we'll change the icon to that, and I can click back on that and say okay, select all again and say okay. One of the other things that we're going to go over, you can do the advanced, and so you can filter the list in place, copy to another location, so you have some options here as well. I don't think anybody's needs are going to be beyond the filter. The main filter. It may be that you have to go further, so definitely check into the advanced if you think that this is not sufficient enough. Text to columns. So split a single column of text into multiple columns. So this is really good for, like, say I am going to bring in a bunch of names, and I have so we have John, Doe, John, and Doe, Mary, and Doe, Jane. So I can actually make columns out of these because I have that comma in there. So this is really great when you have, a student roster or something. So I can actually go ahead and say, change it. And I'll show you what it'll look like if I go ahead and do it like a delimited. It will show you what it will actually look like here. So it's going to give you a preview, and you go next. You can also change it. Say it's the first and last name and they just have a space between their name. You can actually change it to a space instead of the comma. And so I can say next. So you can see how things are changing as I use them. So if I didn't have the comma there, it's going to take out the comma if I select comma. So maybe I want that, and maybe I don't want a space. So let's go ahead and go next. And then this I usually leave blank, but you can change it into a general, you can change it into text, you can change it into month and date, and you have other options here as well, or do not import a certain column. So say I had 3 columns and the middle column was a space. We don't want that there. We can just skip over that one. And then just click finish, and there you can see now I have my text went into 2 different boxes. It's separated them out, and now I can manipulate the data. I can actually take this over here and I can move it over here. And so it now has made it easier for me to manipulate my student data or my data regarding whomever I'm working, whatever information I'm working with. Flash fill. So if I were to go here, let's look and see if this will work. We didn't see a pattern for filling in. So sometimes you can actually grab this, and this is the flash fill as well here. You can do different things here. It's not a flash fill, I'm sorry. It's just an icon that you get off to the side. But it is available to you if you have it. It's a good tool. It helps make things a little bit easier, but like, let's see if I clear this out. And I know. I want to drag this down a little bit further. So now I've just dragged that down. This creates this box here, and I can actually make autofill. I can just fill formatting only, fill without formatting, or I can flash fill. Doesn't like anything I have, but basically it will look at, you know, the examples. You can create an example, or you can look at the data and see if there's something that there was a pattern for it to fill into it. Unfortunately, that didn't work as well as I had anticipated. So let's go ahead and put that back into the auto sum there, and go back to data. And then, so the next thing you could do, let's go. I don't know if it'll work in here, so let's give it a go. Remove duplicates. This really, I like this tool, especially when I'm working with a lot of data and I know there's duplicate information in there. Just say okay. No duplicates were found. So that's good, but you can use it to remove all the duplicates if you have like a lot of duplicates. And again, use your hover menu. It kind of explains what it's about. And even though I have two different numbers, it may be because of the type of formula that I have in there. So see how this is 449 and then this is a formula. So let's see if I change it to 449.99 if it'll recognize it, because it's kind of fun to see how that would work for you. So let's go ahead and go in here and remove duplicates and say okay. And it's still saying no duplicates were found. So that's kind of interesting, even though that, and it may recognize it as a separate entity. So it's not going to remove the information, especially since it's under here and here. I imagine if I didn't have all of this information in here, that it would change, that it would recognize the duplicates. So I'm going to try one more time. I want to just kind of see if we can get that to work, just so you can see how it looks and how it would remove all of that information. So let's see if it, oh, okay. So you can't do it on multiple selections. Again, I'm learning a lot of this stuff with everybody, so I appreciate you being patient while I do this. Let's see if this works a little bit better. Okay, so you can see now that I do have a duplicate. It's telling me which duplicate it is, and that I now have a choice to remove it if I want to, or I can unselect all, or I can select all and say okay, and then it's going to get rid of that for me. So here you see two duplicates values found and removed. So it seems to work with text more than it does with numbers, and I think that makes sense in a lot of ways. So I could be wrong, of course. If you find out I'm wrong, please let me know so that I can make an adjustment to my video. Data validation, pick from a list of rules to limit the type of data that can be entered in the cells. Okay, so let's go here and let's go ahead here. And we can say only allow a whole number between 2,000 and 3,000. Let's see what happens. Okay, and so what if I put in 5,000? So there you go. So I've just restricted how much information or what information can be put in here based on a number. So that is very useful, especially if you want to make sure you don't go over a certain number. So that's kind of cool in that self. Circle invalid data. There you go. Clear validation circles. So that just takes care of that. Consolidate. Let's see if we can consolidate. Function. Let's go ahead and go count and say reference those two and add and say okay. And so I honestly have never had a need for it, but there may be a reason for it. For example, if you have a worksheet of expense figures for each of your regional offices, you might use consolidation to roll up these figures into a corporate expense sheet. That would be very cool, especially if you have multiple sheets. Then you can consolidate the information together. So that is a very useful tool. Power for the pivot window. I am going to do a separate video on pivot tables and pivot charts, because it is a lot of information there, and I really do want to dedicate the time to that. So I will come back to this in that video. What if analysis? You can actually use this. You can do a goal-seeking analysis. I want to set cell to that one. I want the value to be 7,000, and I want to do it by changing a certain cell, this one here, and say OK. Cell must contain a formula. Okay, so it would probably be better to do this one. So let's see if we can do it again. So set value to 7,000 by changing this one here. Let's see if that worked. No. Oh, my cell has to have a formula here. Okay, so let's try it here. What if gold seek 7,000 by changing cell? Let's see if that works. Nope. Let's try a different cell. Nope. Okay, well, I'm having issues, obviously. So, oh, this is also, let's see if I can change one of these here. Okay, so there you go. You're actually seeing it changing around and doing some work there. So it's kind of fun to do. And so it actually does some math for you and figures it out for you. I think this is an extreme number, but okay. Oh, this is because it's a discount. So we'll go ahead and undo all of that. But that's how you would use it. You know, and then there's a data table. So you can change things around in here and just kind of do a what-if analysis. A forecast sheet. Use historical data to create a visual forecast sheet, and this isn't going to work for me just because I don't have enough information that's correct for this to run. But this is a very cool sheet, so that you know, if you want to see forecasts of numbers that for something that perhaps you're doing a type of research project where you're studying grades or something, and you want to forecast what the next class's grades will be, you can actually use this tool to do that. Group, so I can group together rows or columns. I can ungroup those. I can subtotal those groups and columns. And then I have this feature called Solver. This is an add-in. It is a very useful tool. I really do like it. So I will probably do another video on that, because that comes with the developer tool. I want you to be aware this is an extra tab on my Excel. It is a add-in. I will do a video on it just so that you can kind of see what it is about and everything. But it is something that I've used in the past and for certain functions that I need to do. So that's where the developer comes in, and I will show you how to get to that in another video. So that is basically your data tab. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, need more information, please contact me, edith.warden@oit.edu, extension 51730, and I'm on Skype, Edith Warden, and you may IM, video conference me, set up a meeting with me. I'll be more than glad to help you out as best as I can. Thank you, and have a great day.